Today's the US holiday, so heading to the shop. Probably the last Friday I'll do there for a while because I've burned through most of my vacay time. Spent the week cleaning up the shop, disassembled the router mill version 1, started mocking up version 2. I'm to a point where I can build part of it and then figure out the next phase. I will cannibalize those parts. Also finished this rubber band Winchester I started 3 years ago. So now the only open project, that kick drum. Well, you can probably count the lathe. Started pricing out quick change tool holders, and the motor has some flex in it, so I gotta fix that, but it's a problem for another day. What are you breaking now?
Well, this thing sounds like the bearings are, would love to have a shot of oil. But I suspect that the developers of this didn't expect that to happen because they didn't make it easy.
No, they want planned obsolescence, so you buy a new one.
Clearly, they weren't planning on selling them to New Englanders.
Leave the doctor to his patient.
Yes.
It's just dawned on me that we might be running a reverse sweatshop here. Instead of child labor, it's parental labor.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I always say it's kind of like the opposite of usual family businesses, where usually parents rope their kids into working. Although I definitely intend to do that too, as soon as they're old enough.
It looks like first up on my list is sanding the inside of this second bass drum, and then revisiting my nemesis over here to try to eradicate that glue line. What you got there?
I was going to sand this and spray it again.
Ooh. Are these the rejects?
What I do when they go together, if the two layers didn't come nice and flat, we sand them down, I re-dye them, and then after I dye them, I'll use that leather balm. It's really hard to get the ends flat and even, especially, you know, when we're cutting every one by hand.
I thought that was the catchphrase.
Yeah, I'd rather be lucky than smart. Every now and then, I put this thing on the lock there upside down. So I'm crushing down on top of the blades instead of on the backside. And that's what I did that last time, but fortunately I stopped soon enough that I didn't crush the blades. The only thing I can think to do different would be to take the blades out and run this through the planer. So I get maybe a 1/16 of an inch more blade depth.
I'm just impressed you found another flat spot on the floor.
Oh, tell me about it. You can get the same performance by just putting a little edge on them. Seems like there ought to be, I guess if you had a pellet gun, these little knockouts would be really good.
It looks like your new obsession is powder coating fixtures.
Yeah. I somewhere along the line just got really fed up with the little like baling wire fixtures that I used to always use to hold stuff when powder coating. And I just suddenly got a whole bunch of new ideas for how to do a much better job with this. And also just to be more economical. It's like every time you do a batch of powder coating, you waste so much powder because we don't have really any kind of good way to reclaim powder overspray. Like we don't have like a hopper for it or any kind of, you know, hood or anything. So you waste a lot of powder every time you do it, and it's a pain in the ass. And so if I can do more parts at once, then it's more economical. But also those little wire things just were always really flimsy and it didn't really work that well. And I've just recently come up with a bunch of new ways to hold stuff to powder coat it, so yeah.
Silicone cones to keep the powder from plugging up the threads.
Yep.
And these are getting sprayed black and then purple for the Grimace snare drum.
That's the one.
Are we also powder coating the throw off and butt plate?
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping, I think I'm going to use a trick throw off for this, and I was hoping to get an unassembled one because they're so much easier to powder coat that way instead of taking them apart because they epoxy all the bolts in when they assemble them. But it looks like they don't sell the unassembled kits for those anymore, which really sucks.
So the only thing that won't be purple is going to be the tension rods and the snares?
Well, I mean, we could powder coat the snares. The wires are soldered onto the end plates, and I'm not sure if that's like silver solder, which melts at like 800 degrees or whatever, or if it's just like normal, you know, 50 or 60-40 or whatever.
One way to find out. I'm not used to this much simultaneous work.
Awesome.
Good sign.
So these are re-rings and a shell for the tom on an upcoming rope tension drum kit. I hear Bill Sr. making more leather ears, and he's a good storyteller, so. We just got to find that one clicker press company that wants to sponsor a ragtag crew such as ourselves, and we'll be all set.
I get. Even if I lay it out here just right.
There goes all the production.
Yeah.
I decided to go DW for the purple snare and this adjustable butt plate, so I've learned how to take apart a DW throw. So I'm your Huckleberry if you need that kind of service.
Playing Evil Empire over here. Thermometer was in the way.
Deja vu. Round 2 with my nemesis here. Got it sanded back. I'm not seeing the glue line. I'm kind of nervous that once I put that die on, I'm gonna see a glue line. So I think I'll start here. And it's already kind of a butt pucker, so I'll spare you the film footage. So my first run at this came out really splotchy. I was doing like a stripe, trying to keep a wet edge, and you could see it looked like a frickin' circus tent. So this last coat, I did a larger area and would move on, still trying to keep the wet edge. Came out a little better. I think if I go fast enough and saturate the hell out of the cloth, I might be able to do it all as one. I mean, you really have to work fast, but I think I might try it. Meanwhile, the purple cookies are done.
I always just waste so much powder when I do second coats, but I don't know. Anybody out there who knows the secret of top coating, powder coat? All yours. Shiny.
Ooh. It's really hard to capture the color change on camera. Even with our phones, it's hard to get a good picture that shows a combination of the purple and the blue. This looks more purple. Pretty cool. And of course, Bill's polishing his Sousaphone, which is not a euphemism this time.
Yeah. Actually, have to play it for the first time.
Sousaphone? Euphonium?
Sousaphone.
This is a rare treat. That gig's tomorrow?
It works. I know, right?
It's gonna be great.